Hey, welcome. It's another edition of Coffee with the Goose. You know, I talk about things that are interesting, fascinating, and irritating. Little of all of that here today as we talk about boxing and what may or may not happen here in the future. I'm the Goose. Glad you joined me again. We'll start as we always do, or usually do, with a little coffee. Hotel coffee as we're getting ready for a Filipino wedding. Woohoo! In Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It's going to be a great day. So my coffee is, very strong, like my opinion. And of course I got some creamer in there to make it oh so sweet, just like me. All right, here we go. Just saw a little snippet as Manny Pacquiao gets ready to fight an exhibition bout on December 10th in Korea against DKU, a mixed martial arts instructor. Exhibition bout set for 6 rounds. I'm not really interested, but what I do find interesting is that Pacquiao was asked during the press conference if he is interested in fighting the winner of Spence versus Crawford, which of course hasn't happened yet. They've been talking about it for years, and Pacquiao, yeah, he let down his guard a little bit. He said, I'd be interested. Yeah, we'll see. We'll watch the fight, and we'll see what happens. And so I really believe, as I have for the longest time, that he would be very interested in fighting the winner of Crawford and Spence. But before we go any further, let's back up a little bit and kind of lay the groundwork for you. Pacquiao retired last summer after his loss to Yordenis Ugas, which was for a share of the World Welterweight Championship. There was a lot of shady stuff going on, if you remember. And I'll briefly remind you of exactly what happened. He was scheduled to fight Spence, and we were all really excited about that. As a matter of fact, they invited me to go into the Pacquiao camp in Las Vegas just before the fight, and we interviewed everybody. They were so nice to us. We're very appreciative of that. And then the strange stuff started to happen. Spence, 10 days before the fight, came up with a mysterious eye injury in sparring. Now, I've been through this before, but I'll briefly explain it again. How do you injure your eye when sparring? You're not fighting with regulation gloves. You're wearing headgear. It just didn't. I've never heard of that before, and I was suspicious right away. Then, I believe the same day or the next day, we hear that the opponent of Yordenis Ugas, who was set to fight in the undercard, also had a mysterious eye injury in sparring. Actually, it was like an hour and a half later. And so there you go. It's going to be Ugas against Pacquiao. And Pacquiao got that news just a week and a half before the fight, so he really didn't have a chance to adequately prepare for his opponent, and he lost. And so there you go. It was really disappointing all the way around. And what did I say right after the fight, right after Pacquiao announced his retirement? I said, no, he's going to fight again. And I was proven right partially because, yes, he is going to fight again, although it's an exhibition against DKU. That's again set for December in South Korea. And come on, guys, let's be serious. This isn't a real fight. DKU, he's not a fighter. He's a MMA instructor, and I've seen some of his videos, and I'm not sold on this guy as an instructor, but hey, if you can sell people or sell yourself to people, good for you. But I did see him also fight an exhibition bout against a real MMA fighter who proceeded to embarrass him. And so DKU is, needless to say, not a worthy opponent of Manny Pacquiao. That's just going to be an embarrassment for you. And so Pacquiao was asked during a press junket just a day or so ago if he's interested in fighting the winner of Spence Crawford, and he said, he let down his guard a little bit. He said, I might be interested in that. Yeah, I'll keep my eyes, keep my options open, if you will. And he said, we'll watch the fight and then we'll see what happens. So I'm convinced, and I think many of you are, and many of you say, well, he's too old, let him retire, blah, blah, blah. Well, he's going to do what he wants to do. He's 43. But I think he's still one of the best welterweights on the planet, and I think he would have beaten Spence anyhow. And I think that's why all that boxing corruption came out of the woodwork before the Spence fight, and he ended up fighting Ugas. So, Pacquiao, no doubt in my mind, I could be wrong, but there's no doubt in my mind right now that he's still one of the best welterweight titleists, opponents for the the welterweight title fight. He would be a worthy opponent, no doubt about it. Now the question remains: when are Spence and Crawford going to fight? Maybe never. These guys have been talking trash back and forth since the beginning of time, for years, and it hasn't happened yet. And immediately after Spence defeated Ugas easily, we started talking about, well, here we go. They're the only two guys with titles in the welterweight division. Come on, let's go. And both of them are still talking trash to each other, saying, oh yeah, well, we're negotiating, and it's just, it's going to happen. Just hang on. Well, we've been hanging on for years, and it hasn't happened yet. So that's really the piece of the puzzle that's missing, and that we're waiting for that. And I'd love to see Spence and Crawford go at it. They're two great undefeated welterweight champions. I think I would give the edge to Crawford, the native of Omaha, Nebraska. Spence, however, who is from lives in the Dallas area, would give him a good fight. It's hard to say who would win, but I wish these guys would just sign the dotted line and get this thing going. They could have fought twice already and made gazillions of dollars and set the boxing world afire. We would have been so excited to see that, but it hasn't happened, and I don't know why. When there's that much money to be made, and it's all about money, as you guys know, there's no logical reason why that hasn't already taken place. I have no idea. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Who would win that fight to begin with, and what's holding it up? And should Pacquiao, as he showed some interest in, fight the winner of those two guys? What do you think? I would love to see it, but let's be real here. Pacquiao, if he did fight the winner of those two guys, he'd have to fight a warm-up fight. He'd have to do that if he had any good sense, and he does. He's been training, by the way, with Boot in preparation for DKU. So who would he? There's another question: who would he fight for a warm-up battle? And there's a lot of maybe a rematch with Ugas. Maybe I heard somebody say Thurman again, although I wouldn't like to see that. There's lots of names out there who would provide a great opponent and a great show with Manny Pacquiao as he hopefully gets ready to fight again for real in the world welterweight division. And so we'll see what happens. I don't think he'll fight with Freddie Roach as a trainer anymore, though. But hey, you never know. The boxing world is full of surprises, and this latest announcement by Manny Pacquiao is another a great example of another little surprise. And who knows, it might happen maybe in the spring. So hopefully, number one, we'll get Spence and Crawford in the ring together. Who knows? I'd love to see it, and then we'll see what happens after that. Again, Manny Pacquiao set to fight DKU in Seoul, South Korea on December 10th. And we'll cover that, although I'm not really that interested. All right. That's it for this edition of Coffee with the Goose. Doing it from Sioux City. Sorry, Sioux City is in Iowa. Sioux Falls, South Dakota, as we get ready for a joyful day, a Filipino wedding. It's going to be a great time. All right, that's it for this edition of Coffee with the Goose. Thanks for joining me once again, and many, many thanks to you guys who subscribe to our channel. It's still going strong, and I look forward to reading all of your comments about Manny Pacquiao against you, maybe Pacquiao coming back to the boxing game for real, and maybe Spence and Crawford going at it. So let me know what you have to think. All right, that's it for this show, and we will talk to you again soon.